You're listening to the Artist King podcast.
This is DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com, and this is the Artist King podcast, episode 72. Please take the time to download the Artist King podcast in your favorite platform and listen anytime. We would like to hear your opinions and suggestions, so please direct your comments to dtm@artistking.org. The Artist King podcast is available on iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, and ArtistKingArchive.com. This week's guest is Asa Charles. Asa Charles has an honest love for all things art. Her background includes illustration and design, and she characterizes her work as bold, colorful, and lively. Ash Boogey, as some call her, delves into various mediums and welcomes the opportunity to master new crafts and share her passion for art. Look for her in the upcoming Sharpie Slam 2015 and find her online and social medias under ashboogeydotcom. That's right, spell out the .com part also. Remember that every month Artist King will be giving away a 1-hour consultation with an art business mentor and a business coach at Azalea Creative in Inman Park. To be eligible, artists must be an Artist King email subscriber. Visit artistking.org and subscribe now to get a chance to be one of those artists, plus receive updates on upcoming events, classes, meetups, workshops, and resources available to artists of all levels. The Artist King podcast is made possible by our generous sponsors: the law offices of Deborah Gonzalez Esquire, VelocityScreenprint.net, RevolveSkate.com, OHub at Giant, Southside Sickest, Mix Manny Beats, The Biz Garage, Supernova South, HonestCon.com. And don't forget, Sharpie Slam 2015, the biggest, baddest art event of the year, is coming to the Biltmore Hotel Wednesday, October 7th from 6 to 9 p.m. 6 teams will go toe-to-toe, and only one will be crowned ATL Supreme Champ. Tickets now available at supernovasouth.org. Now, on to our artist interview with Asa Charles.
My name is Asa Francis Ayana Charles. I am originally from Trinidad, but I've been in the States long enough to claim it. It's not where you're from, it's where you're at at the end of the day. So I think I'm a good mix of everything.
Okay. And you were born there, and how old were you when you came?
I came to the States in 92, so I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember a lot, but not a lot of adult life. And I don't go back to visit. So I really can't, go wild ham. Well, I feel guilty not embracing it so much, but it's like, I'm here.
Right.
So I like to stay. All my stuff's here, my family. So
yeah. So that's so then if you were to go back, they're all here.
I'd be a tourist. I really would. I have family there, of course, and I wouldn't be lost, but I really, I do have ties, but it's not as strong as here. Here is where my stuff is.
Right. And so, coming at 10 years old, you came to Atlanta, or did you make some other stops?
Moved to, my whole family, we migrated to Queens, and then we moved to North Carolina, Fayetteville, and we stayed there like 2 years, and then figured out it was boring, and then and then we came here, and it's the best of both worlds. You get some New York and some North Carolina all together, so everybody's happy.
So it was your mom and dad and
my whole
siblings?
brother, sister, auntie, grandma, everybody.
Really?
Yeah, and now even like my cousins are here. Blame it on the Olympics. Everybody just most of my immediate and we call that nuclear. And the other people in my family, aunties, my grandmas, everybody, they're here. Well, some passed, but everybody's here.
Wow. So when do you remember when you started when you came across art, and what was that like? Do you remember how old you were?
That was like forever. I can remember as like a little girl always waiting on art class or art time to start and just being excited about it. I remember reading Archie comic books and tracing over them, and just I wouldn't even really read it. I couldn't tell you what Archie is about, but I could draw him over and over and just I'd always draw, and I liked it. So anytime and then even, like, I remember, like, we have Carnival in Trinidad, and just the costuming and just everything about it, I really, really loved. So just colors, the music even. I can't sing or lick, I can't play any instruments, but I like all art.
Yeah. So so art time came around and you would do art stuff and you say the colors of the festivals and that attracted you.
Yeah.
But did you keep track of any of your art, or did you just do it and say, it's just something I did?
Well, my dad actually, I found a stash of him and I was so like sad, not sad, it teared me up because it was like, oh, he loves me. But I saw
he kept the stash.
Yeah, he has these birthday cards that we used to hand make from him since we were itty bitty, and with the bad handwriting and the spelling and stuff. And some of the stuff, I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome! I did that. I'm impressed. So
yeah.
So it's from what is left over, I do have even some paintings in the house from high school, junior high, but I don't keep track of it. Other people seem to.
So when how old were you? How old were you when you came to Atlanta?
I was 17. Yeah, I did my last year of high school here, so I was deep into it by then.
Yeah.
Because even in New York, I went to a magnet art school. Oh. So I think I can't think of when I didn't like art or try to pursue it. So, and luckily my parents, they never, looked at me like, really so they always.
So they encouraged
me as well, I could say. Yeah.
To help buy some materials.
Yeah, they fed the habit. They enabled me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, when you went to that magnet art school, were there options of going to regular high school and then that high school?
Yeah, well, in New York, it's kind of like college. When you're in middle school, you apply to schools and see what you can get into. So, I did an interview. We had to apply. And I got into it. It was Bayside High School in New York. And it wasn't just visual arts. It was performing arts as well. So, it was like a whole art school, and I only stayed there for a year though because we moved to North Carolina, and then it wasn't anything similar, and then it was like, it's kind of not the same here. Yeah. And so we moved to Georgia.
So when you went to that magnet art school, what were all your interests? Just art, drawing,
painting? It was the
painting?
same thing. Yeah, it was. I was in the honors art classes, and they would always they had specific schedules, and more art prep class. We had more art history than everybody else, and it was just more putting you on that path to, I don't know what, but it was really, it was good. Actually, when I think about it, I'm like, I really was, what's the word? Introduced to a lot of different stuff. Like we had a kiln, we had just
to do pottery.
Yeah, we had different things going on, and we had big art shows. So it always was, I think, just different experiences that I don't think everybody gets. I got it, so I'm glad for it.
Got it. So you said they were preparing you. And you don't know for what, but
no, because there wasn't any like major, like I didn't see any college movement. Like you first here, then there. They kind of, it was just all about just opening you up to different experiences there. I didn't think it was so concentrated, or maybe because I was only in the 9th grade.
Right.
But
you couldn't really see. Could you see yourself as doing something with art when you grow up? Because they ask kids all the time, "What do you want to be when you grow up?"
I wanted to be an architect, just because I figured, well, that's artsy and get to make money, but I suck at math.
You get to make money, but you suck at math.
So I abandoned that one real quick.
Oh man, is there a lot of math?
Yeah,
a lot of line work and measurements.
Yeah, I didn't we took like some kind of course that I remember thinking, this is math.
They tricked me.
It was like geometry and this, and I was like, this is math. And I hated every piece of it. So I was like, I don't want to be an architect anymore. And
do you have other plan B in mind?
Well, I wanted to be a graphic designer even before I knew what it was. I didn't really think like there was somebody all day that just makes words and things look pretty. But I realized, because I've been doing the birthday cards, I was the family. You know, everybody would come to me like, "Hey, do this, do this." You know, I was my mom, she's a teacher. I'd make all her banners in school for her, all her posters and her cue cards and everything. So I
so you were putting in work.
Yeah, I was doing it all unpaid, but I was doing it all a while. And then it wasn't until I actually, even in college, I signed up for graphic design first, and then it was just so it was such a lengthy course, and I switched over to illustration because it was more fun. But
go ahead.
I'm glad I did, because now I have more fine arts experience as well, and the stuff that I like to do that I would look up anyway, you know, that I pursue anyway by myself. So
what was that college decision like? You're in Atlanta, last year of college, high school, and
I know I wanted to go to art school, and I went up to that one in Buckhead, Atlanta.
Art Institute?
No, it was in Buckhead too. The other one, Atlanta College of Art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was next to the High, I think. Like, I went there first to their open interview process, recruitment, I guess they call it, admissions. And the guy there, when he looked through my portfolio, he was actually like, "You should do graphic design." And I was like, what is that? And I read it, and then they didn't have it offered in their school. So he even suggested I do the Art Institute, and I took his advice and I signed up. And some parts of it I liked, you know, like some of the classes were just, you know, leading and kerning and you know, just a little boring.
Yeah.
And I would always have more fun and do better at the more fine arts class, like the figure drawing, this, that, because it was less. Do this, it's structural, I guess. So
there's more art.
Yeah.
It's free, whatever.
Yeah, it's interpretation. It's like no right or wrong. You can't tell me that's wrong. That's, you know, even though there's nothing worse than an art school critic. It'll make you cry.
You got some bad criticisms or critiques?
Just the whole class, I remember this project day, it would be like, oh my God, because everybody would tear your stuff apart. Like, this is wrong, the students would get at you. This is wrong, this is, before the teacher even does. So it was, you know, I guess it's helpful, but it's hurtful too.
Yeah.
So.
Because you feel like that's a part of you.
You're like, hey, I have a reason behind it. I did this because, and they're like, well, it just looks stupid. Okay.
It gets better with time, though, right?
Yeah, of course.
As you get older and mature, not only maybe you don't fix those mistakes, maybe those mistakes become part of how you do your art, and you don't care what people say.
Exactly. So.
After a while, like, I don't care. That's how I came out.
My style.
That's right.
Not a mistake.
That's right. Your style. That's right. So, did you finish college? Did you graduate?
I finally did. It really took me a long time because just life period. I started, finished, trying to work, and I had a baby, a beautiful baby girl, and I even got married one time, and just
just one time.
Yeah, just once, just that time. So yeah, so it took me 10 years to finish up my bachelor's, but I finally did.
So you were sidetracked by things that you wanted to do. So during this time, even back and forth with school, did you hold regular jobs, or did you try to freelance or what?
Both. I tried to juggle both because I always liked to paint and draw. But I would always end up doing jobs like that had something to do with art, but not like I did window tinting, and. I know, it sounds like, I can tint a mean window, holla at me. But, just crazy. Well, I taught, whatever, at one time. Not English, obviously. I substitute teached it, and just a lot of random things that,